Anna Mitchell had dedicated 18 years of her life to Apex Dynamics, a tech powerhouse known for its cutting-edge innovations and ambitious vision. As a software architect, Anna was the driving force behind some of the company's most significant achievements, including the revolutionary security algorithm that powered their flagship product. She'd poured her heart and soul into her work, driven by a relentless passion for problem-solving and a deep belief in the power of technology to change the world. But none of that seemed to matter now. She sat in the cold, sterile conference room, across from Melissa Carter, the head of HR, and Mark Donovan, the company's charismatic CEO. The room felt like a prison cell, the walls a bland shade of corporate gray, and the air thick with tension. Melissa's eyes flickered with discomfort as she slid a manila folder across the table, the motion almost hesitant, as if she knew the weight of what she was about to do. Mark leaned back in his chair, arms crossed over his chest, a smug, self-satisfied look on his face. "Anna," Melissa began, her voice rehearsed and dripping with artificial regret, "after careful consideration, we've decided to move in a new direction. As part of this restructuring, your position has been eliminated." Anna's pulse quickened, but she forced herself to remain calm. She'd seen this coming weeks ago, ever since an email meant for the executive team had accidentally found its way to her inbox. In that email, the plans to phase her out were laid bare, a carefully orchestrated scheme cloaked under the guise of modernizing the research department. The real reason was painfully clear. They wanted her gone to replace her with younger, cheaper talent. It was a move that reeked of corporate greed and disregard for loyalty. Mark leaned forward, a faint smirk playing at the corners of his mouth. "We appreciate everything you've done for Apex Dynamics, truly. Your contributions have been invaluable." His words were hollow, meaningless, an empty performance for the sake of appearances. "Of course, we've prepared a severance package. You'll receive 2 weeks of pay for each year of service, continued health benefits for 3 months, and access to career transition services." Anna finally reached for the folder, her hands steady despite the anger simmering beneath her composed exterior. She flipped it open, eyes scanning the impersonal documents that reduced 2 decades of her life to a series of standard HR forms. They thought they could erase her with a stack of papers, as if she were nothing more than another line item on a budget sheet. "I see," she said coolly, her voice betraying nothing. Mark exhaled, visibly relieved that she wasn't making a scene. He'd expected anger, tears, maybe even a desperate plea to reconsider. But Anna Mitchell was far from defeated, because while they thought they were getting rid of her, she had already set the stage for something far more powerful. "We'll need you to clear out your office by Friday," Melissa continued, her tone softening as if she truly believed she was offering a kindness. "Your company laptop, phone, and keycard should be turned in before you leave." "Of course," Anna replied, her voice even, almost serene. But behind her calm expression, her mind was working like a finely tuned machine, calculating the steps she would take next. They didn't know that she had been quietly preparing for this moment, anticipating their betrayal with a level of foresight they could never hope to match. As she left the conference room, Anna walked past the glass-walled executive suite. Inside, Mark Donovan was animatedly discussing the company's upcoming product launch, his voice full of bravado. The same Mark Donovan who had stood on stage last year, accepting an industry award for her algorithm, referring to it as a testament to Apex's vision and innovation. He hadn't even bothered to mention her name. Anna felt a flicker of satisfaction as she moved through the hallways of a company she had once called home. Because what Mark Donovan didn't know, what he would never see coming, was that he had just made the worst mistake of his career. They thought they were cutting her out of the story. But Anna was about to rewrite the entire narrative, and this time, she would be the one standing at the top. Friday would be her last day at Apex Dynamics. But Monday would be the day everything changed. Anna Mitchell stood in her office, the door closed behind her like a final barrier between her and the world she had dedicated 20 years to. She leaned against her desk, fingers brushing the manila folder filled with hollow words and empty promises. The anger she had kept contained during that sterile meeting now surged through her, hot and unyielding. But Anna knew that anger without direction was wasted energy. She had prepared for this. She had anticipated every step they would take, and now it was time to put her plan into motion. Weeks earlier, Anna had sensed something was wrong. An unusual meeting schedule, quiet whispers in the corridors, and a sudden increase in Mark Donovan's smug confidence. But the real tipping point had been the accidental email, a message intended for senior executives that outlined the company's plans to modernize the research department. That was corporate speak for one thing, cutting out the experienced, high-salaried employees like her and replacing them with cheaper, younger talent. But Mark Donovan and his executive cronies had made a critical mistake. They underestimated her. They saw her as a replaceable cog in the machine, not the architect behind the very technology that kept Apex Dynamics at the forefront of the cybersecurity industry. And while they plotted her removal, Anna had quietly been making preparations of her own. It had started with a routine audit 3 months ago. Anna was reviewing system logs when she noticed a discrepancy, an irregularity in how the intellectual property for her security algorithm was documented. The algorithm was the backbone of Apex's flagship product, a revolutionary system that could process massive amounts of data while identifying threats in real time. It was a product that had generated billions in revenue for the company, and it was her creation. She immediately raised the issue with Apex's legal team, expecting swift action to secure the patent. Instead, she was met with dismissive reassurances and vague promises that it would be handled. But something about their responses set off alarm bells in her mind. So she dug deeper. Anna spent countless late nights poring over internal documents, legal filings, and confidential memos. What she discovered was far more than a clerical error. It was a deliberate plan to strip her of credit. A confidential strategy memo outlined a plan to officially attribute the algorithm's development to corporate efforts, erasing her name from its history. Worse, it revealed that the company had no intention of filing the patent until after she had been removed, knowing that intellectual property developed by employees typically belonged to the company. The betrayal was gut-wrenching, but Anna wasn't one to crumble. Instead, she devised a countermeasure. She knew intellectual property law well enough to recognize a loophole they hadn't considered. While her algorithm was developed during her time at Apex, her ongoing refinements were a different story. Over the past year, she had made substantial improvements to the algorithm, boosting its processing efficiency by over 40%. And she had done all of this on her personal time, using her own equipment at home. Legally, these refinements belonged solely to her. Armed with this knowledge, Anna took her findings to someone who could help, a close friend who happened to be one of the top intellectual property attorneys in the country. Together, they compiled airtight documentation, development logs, timestamps, detailed technical notes, all proving that her refinements had been made independently. Within weeks, she had filed for a patent under her own name. The process was expedited thanks to her attorney's strategic push, and the patent was granted with remarkable speed. Now, as she stood in her office for what would be one of the last times, Anna pulled out her personal phone and sent a message to her contact at Titan Tech, the only company capable of challenging Apex Dynamics' dominance in the market. "It's done. They're out of time," she typed. The response was immediate. "Perfect. We're ready when you are." That evening, Anna met with James Carter, CEO of Titan Tech, at an upscale restaurant far from Apex's headquarters. They sat in a private alcove, shielded by elegant wooden screens that granted them complete privacy. James was known for his strategic brilliance, but even he looked slightly astonished as he flipped through the documents Anna had brought with her. "They really didn't see this coming," he said, shaking his head. "They pushed out the one person who built the foundation of their most valuable product. Unbelievable." Anna's lips curled into a faint smile. Mark Donovan never understood what he had. He saw the revenue, the marketing potential, but the underlying architecture, that was just tech stuff to him. James closed the folder, leaning forward. "You know what this means. The moment we announce this, Apex will be in full crisis mode." "That's their problem, not mine," Anna replied calmly. My only concern is my team. They don't deserve to be caught in the fallout. James nodded. Already taken care of. We have positions ready for all of them, senior roles, substantial raises. All they have to do is say yes. Anna didn't hesitate. She took the pen from the table, signed the final page of the agreement, and closed the folder with a decisive snap. In one elegant move, she had secured her future, protected her team, and set the stage for Apex Dynamics' downfall. James raised his glass, a glimmer of excitement in his eyes. To new beginnings. Anna clinked her glass against his, her gaze steady and resolute. And to reclaiming what's rightfully ours. As she left the restaurant that night, Anna felt an exhilarating sense of clarity. Apex Dynamics had tried to erase her. They had underestimated her worth, betrayed her trust, and treated her as disposable. But now, she held the power. Friday would be her last day at Apex. But Monday would be the day the world learned that Anna Mitchell was far from replaceable. She wasn't just taking her name back, she was taking her legacy, and no one would ever forget her contribution again. Friday morning dawned with a strange sense of finality. As Anna Mitchell stepped into the lobby of Apex Dynamics, she felt like a ghost haunting the halls of a place that no longer held meaning for her. The walls were covered with posters of the company's success stories, products powered by her algorithm, achievements built on her shoulders. It was both ironic and infuriating, but Anna was beyond anger now. She had a different focus, taking back what was rightfully hers. She walked through the office with her head held high, her demeanor calm and collected. She passed colleagues who gave her sympathetic looks, whispers trailing behind her. Everyone knew what was happening, but no one dared to say it out loud. The company's prized engineer was being pushed out like yesterday's news. It was the kind of story that was all too common in the tech world, and one that Anna was determined to rewrite. Her morning was filled with exit interviews, knowledge transfer meetings, and final handoffs. She maintained her professionalism, ensuring that her team had everything they needed to move forward. But she also left behind a paper trail of meticulous documentation, a deliberate move to prove that she had acted in good faith while the company had not. At noon, Anna gathered her belongings into a cardboard box. Family photos, a collection of industry conference badges, a coffee mug her team had given her last Christmas, small reminders of the years she had dedicated to this place. As she wrapped a small award she'd received for her work on the algorithm, she couldn't help but feel a flicker of satisfaction. That algorithm was no longer theirs. It was hers, and the world was about to find out. Anna. The voice was unmistakable. She looked up to see Mark Donovan leaning against her office doorframe, a forced smile on his face. I just wanted to check that everything's clear for your departure. Crystal clear. Anna's expression was serene, her tone perfectly polite. Is there anything else you need from me? Mark shifted uncomfortably, his confidence faltering for a brief moment. You know, these restructuring decisions are never personal. We're just moving in a new direction. Of course, Anna replied evenly. Business is business. Something in her tone made him pause, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. But then he dismissed it, his ego unable to fathom that she could be anything other than defeated. Well, best of luck. Anna's lips curled into a faint smile. Thank you. I'll see you around, Mark. He frowned, as if trying to decipher her words, but Anna had already turned her attention back to her packing. She could feel his gaze linger on her for a moment longer before he walked away, the faint scent of desperation trailing behind him. By 4 p.m., Anna had cleared out her desk and handed in her company-issued laptop, phone, and keycard. She walked out of the building without looking back, the weight of her severance papers barely registering in her hand. Because while Apex Dynamics thought they were closing a chapter, Anna knew this was only the beginning. That evening, she met James Carter at Titan Tech's headquarters, a sleek, modern building that radiated innovation and ambition. As she stepped into the executive boardroom, she felt an electric sense of possibility. This was a place where ideas thrived, where talent was recognized, and where her future was about to take shape. James stood as she entered, extending a hand with a warm smile. Welcome to Titan Tech, Anna. Are you ready to make history? "More than ready," she replied, taking a seat at the head of the table. She placed a thick folder on the polished surface, filled with the patent documentation and technical specs of her algorithm. "Here's everything you need to know. This algorithm will give Titan Tech an edge that Apex Dynamics can't compete with." James nodded, his expression serious as he flipped through the pages. "We've drafted the licensing agreement. As soon as you sign, Titan Tech will have exclusive rights to your algorithm. And as discussed, you'll be joining us as Chief Innovation Officer." Anna had already memorized the terms: a 7-figure signing bonus, a substantial equity stake in Titan Tech, and ongoing royalties from every product that used her algorithm. But the real prize was the opportunity to reclaim her legacy and ensure that her work was no longer exploited by those who failed to recognize her value. She signed the document with a steady hand, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and satisfaction. In one elegant move, she had secured her future, protected her intellectual property, and set the stage for the downfall of the company that had betrayed her. James's eyes sparkled with anticipation. "Our PR team is ready to release the announcement first thing Monday morning. We'll make it clear that any company currently using the algorithm, including Apex Dynamics, will need to negotiate licensing terms with us." Anna's smile was sharp. "Let them sweat. They think they own the future, but they're about to find out just how wrong they are." That night, Anna sent a final message to her former team members, trusted colleagues who had been caught in the crossfire of Apex's ruthless restructuring. "Check your personal emails. Titan Tech has positions for all of you. Senior roles, better pay, and a chance to be part of something groundbreaking." By the time she closed her laptop, the responses were already pouring in. "We're in. Where do we sign? We've got your back, Anna." The loyalty of her team meant everything to her, and she knew that together, they could achieve something extraordinary. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about creating a place where innovation thrived, where people were valued for their contributions, and where no one was ever made to feel disposable. As she poured herself a glass of wine and looked out over the city lights, Anna allowed herself a rare moment of satisfaction. Apex Dynamics had underestimated her, and they were about to pay the price. Monday would mark the beginning of a new era. And for the first time in years, Anna felt truly free. She wasn't just leaving Apex behind, she was reclaiming her story, her legacy, and her worth. And this time, the world would know exactly who she was. If you loved this story, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Your support inspires us to bring you more heartwarming stories almost every day. Thank you for being part of our community. See you in the next one. Monday morning dawned crisp and bright, but the atmosphere inside Apex Dynamics was anything but clear. The company's executive team gathered in a conference room, their faces etched with concern and a thin veneer of desperation. Mark Donovan paced in front of a massive screen displaying the morning's industry headlines, each one more damning than the last. Titan Tech acquires exclusive rights to innovative algorithm from former Apex Dynamics engineer Anna Mitchell. Market shakeup: Apex Dynamics loses core technology to competitor. Tech innovator Anna Mitchell takes back control. Mark's eyes were wild as he glanced at the assembled executives. "How did we not see this coming?" he demanded. His voice was etched with panic, the carefully curated facade of confidence now crumbling. "We can't afford this kind of disruption. Sentinel Shield relies entirely on that algorithm. Without it, our flagship product is dead in the water." Marjorie Thompson, head of legal, shuffled through a stack of documents, her face pale. "We never secured the original patent." Anna filed for the improvements under her own name. She has full control over the technology now. Mark's fists clenched, and he turned his attention to the chief financial officer. "What's the impact on our stock?" "Down 12% since the market opened," the CFO replied grimly. "And it's still falling. Investors are panicking." Mark's face reddened. "Then we need to get Anna back on the phone. We'll offer her whatever she wants." "We've already tried," Marjorie said, her voice tight. "She won't speak to us. All communication is being routed through Titan Tech's legal department." The room fell into tense silence, the reality of their predicament sinking in. Apex Dynamics had spent years building its reputation as an industry leader, and now that reputation was unraveling because they had underestimated the one person who had built their success from the ground up. Meanwhile, 8 miles away, Anna Mitchell was settling into her new corner office at Titan Tech. The room was bright and modern, with floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked the city's skyline. She could feel the energy buzzing through the building, a sense of excitement and momentum that was a stark contrast to the stifling atmosphere she had left behind at Apex. James Carter stepped into her office, a satisfied grin on his face. The press release went out at 7 a.m. The industry's buzzing. "How are you feeling?" "Validated," Anna said simply, her voice calm but resolute. "This was never about revenge. It's about recognition and taking back control of my work." James nodded. "Well, you've done that. But it looks like Apex is in full crisis mode. They've already tried to reach out." "Let them sweat," Anna replied. "They made their choices, and now they have to live with the consequences." At precisely 9 a.m., Anna's phone buzzed with the first message from her former team at Apex. "Total chaos here. What did you do?" She smirked, typing back a quick response. "Check your personal emails. All of you have offers waiting." Across town, the executive meeting at Apex was spiraling out of control. Mark was pacing again, his panic now bordering on hysteria. "We can't let this destroy us," he said, his voice rising. "We need to spin this. Get PR on it. Tell them we're confident in our ability to rebuild the technology." Marjorie's face was tight with anxiety. "Rebuild? Mark, that algorithm took Anna 3 years to perfect. You can't replicate that kind of innovation in a few months. Then hire a new team," Mark snapped. "We'll bring in the best talent in the industry. Whatever it takes." But as the words left his mouth, Mark's assistant stepped into the room, her expression grim. "Sir, we have a situation. 6 of our engineers just submitted their resignations, effective immediately." The room erupted into chaos as Mark's face turned ashen. "Who?" "Anna's entire former team," she replied. "They've all accepted positions at Titan Tech." The reality hit Mark like a physical blow. The company wasn't just losing its core technology, it was losing the people who knew how to make it work. Anna leaned back in her chair at Titan Tech, watching the messages from her former team roll in. "We're all in. Ready to start whenever you are. Thanks for giving us a way out, Anna. Let's build something amazing together." She felt a rush of pride and gratitude for the loyalty of her team. They were the best in the business, and now they were free to innovate without the constraints of corporate politics and ego-driven leadership. At 10:30 a.m., Titan Tech's communications team forwarded Anna a news alert. "Apex Dynamics CEO Mark Donovan addresses crisis. We will defend our technology." Anna shook her head. "They still think they have a chance." James leaned against her office door, arms crossed. "They're bluffing. The market can smell blood in the water. Apex's stock is down 18% and falling. They're going to try and sue me," Anna said, her tone calm and matter-of-fact. "They won't win, but they're desperate enough to try." James shrugged. "Let them. Your documentation is airtight, and we're prepared for that fight if it comes." Anna took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. She had spent years being overlooked and underestimated, treated as a disposable asset by people who saw her only as a means to an end. But now, she was the one holding all the cards, and she wasn't going to let anyone take that away from her. "Let's keep moving forward," she said, her voice filled with quiet determination. "Apex is in the past. Titan Tech is the future. And we're just getting started." As the morning unfolded, the industry buzz grew louder. Major clients began reaching out to Titan Tech, expressing interest in Anna's new algorithm. The technology landscape was shifting, and Anna was at the center of it, guiding the change she had fought so hard to create. By noon, Apex Dynamics stock had plummeted 25%, and the company was on the brink of a full-scale crisis. The board of directors called an emergency meeting, their confidence in Mark Donovan's leadership shattered. Anna watched the chaos unfold from a place of strength and clarity. She wasn't just reclaiming her legacy, she was redefining the future of an industry. And this time, she was doing it on her own terms. By Wednesday morning, the fallout at Apex Dynamics had reached catastrophic levels. The once proud company was now a shadow of its former self, teetering on the edge of collapse. Mark Donovan stood at the head of the conference room table, a vein pulsing in his temple as he glared at the anxious executives assembled before him. "Status update," he barked, his voice a mix of anger and desperation. "Tell me we've made progress on the algorithm rebuild." There was an uncomfortable silence as Marjorie Thompson, head of legal, cleared her throat. "We've reviewed the documentation, and there's no feasible way to replicate Anna's algorithm in the time frame you're proposing. It took her years to develop it, and our new team has barely scratched the surface." Mark's eyes narrowed. "So what are you saying, Marjorie? That we just give up?" "I'm saying," Marjorie replied carefully, "that we need to face reality. Without Anna's algorithm, Sentinel Shield is essentially non-functional. Our clients are already starting to panic, and we've received multiple requests for contract terminations." Mark swore under his breath, his frustration boiling over. "Then we need to fight back. File a lawsuit against Titan Tech and Anna Mitchell. We'll claim ownership of the original algorithm and argue that her improvements were derivative work." "But that's not true," another executive interjected nervously. "Anna's improvements were made on her own time, using her personal equipment. She documented everything meticulously. If we go to court, we'll lose." "Do it anyway," Mark snapped. "We need to buy ourselves some time. Make it as messy and public as possible. If we create enough chaos, maybe we can force them to negotiate." Even as he said the words, Mark knew it was a desperate gambit. He was grasping at straws, clinging to the illusion of control in a situation that was rapidly spiraling beyond his reach. Meanwhile, across town at Titan Tech, Anna and her newly assembled innovation team were hitting the ground running. The energy in the office was electric, fueled by the thrill of possibility and the freedom to create without limitations. Anna stood at the head of the conference room, surrounded by the people she trusted most. "All right, everyone," she began, her tone confident and steady. "We have a unique opportunity to reshape the industry. Our goal is to take what we've built and make it even better. Let's refine the algorithm, push the boundaries of what's possible, and deliver a product that sets a new standard for cybersecurity." Miguel, her former lead engineer at Apex, leaned forward with a grin. "Let's make Sentinel Shield look like amateur hour." Laughter rippled through the room, and Anna felt a surge of pride. This was what real innovation looked like, a team united by a shared vision, driven by mutual respect and a desire to create something extraordinary. As they delved into brainstorming sessions, ideas flowed freely, and Anna's mind raced with possibilities. She had spent years at Apex, fighting to be heard, struggling against a system that refused to acknowledge her value. Now, she was surrounded by people who saw her as a leader, who recognized her talent, and who believed in her vision. At noon, James Carter stepped into the room, his expression serious. "Anna, we just got word that Apex Dynamics has filed a lawsuit against you and Titan Tech. They're claiming ownership of the original algorithm." Anna's eyes narrowed, but her voice remained calm. "Let them try. We're ready for this." James nodded. "Our legal team has already drafted a response. We're filing a countersuit for defamation and malicious interference. We'll make it clear that Apex is acting in bad faith." "Good," Anna said. "I want them to understand that they can't bully their way out of this mess. They made their choices, and now they have to live with the consequences." By 2 p.m., news of the legal battle had spread like wildfire, dominating industry headlines. Apex Dynamics lawsuit against former engineer sparks industry uproar. Tech war heats up. Anna Mitchell fires back with countersuit. Titan Tech stands firm as Apex fights for survival. The industry buzzed with speculation, and investors watched nervously as Apex's stock continued to plummet. Major clients began pulling out, unwilling to risk their data security on a company embroiled in such a high-stakes legal battle. At 4:30 p.m., Anna received a call from Marjorie Thompson, who sounded exhausted and defeated. "Anna, this is Marjorie from Apex Dynamics. I'm calling on behalf of the board. They'd like to know if you'd be willing to meet to discuss a resolution." Anna's lips curled into a faint smile. Any discussions will need to go through Titan Tech's legal department. I'm sure they'd be happy to set up a meeting to discuss licensing terms. There was a long pause. Please, Anna. We're asking for a chance to make things right. You had that chance, Anna replied coolly. You made your choice. Now you have to live with it. As she hung up, Anna felt a profound sense of clarity. She had spent too many years fighting for recognition, struggling against the constraints of corporate politics and egos. Now, she was free, and she was determined to use that freedom to create something that truly mattered. That evening, Anna stood in her office, looking out over the city as the sun dipped below the horizon. Titan Tech was on the brink of releasing a new generation of cybersecurity technology, built on her algorithm and refined by her team. They were setting a new standard for innovation, and Apex Dynamics was being left behind. A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts, and James stepped inside with a satisfied smile. I just got off the phone with our legal team. They're confident that Apex will drop the lawsuit. They know they're going to lose. Of course they will, Anna said. They never stood a chance. As she watched the city lights flicker to life, Anna felt a sense of fulfillment unlike anything she had ever known. She had reclaimed her legacy, protected her team, and proven that real innovation couldn't be silenced or stolen. And for the first time in her career, she knew that she was exactly where she belonged. 3 months later, Anna Mitchell stood on the main stage of the National Technology Innovation Conference, facing a packed audience of industry leaders, journalists, and aspiring engineers. The room was buzzing with anticipation, and Anna could feel the weight of the moment as she stepped up to the microphone. This was the same conference where, just a year ago, she had sat quietly in the back while Mark Donovan stood on stage and took credit for her work. But today, everything was different. Thank you for having me, Anna began, her voice clear and strong. For years, I was told that I should be grateful just to have a seat at the table. That recognition didn't matter as much as being part of something bigger. But I'm here to tell you that real innovation doesn't happen in boardrooms. It happens because of the people who build, create, and push boundaries. And those people deserve to be seen, valued, and credited for their work. The room erupted into applause, and Anna felt a rush of validation. She wasn't just speaking for herself, she was speaking for everyone who had ever been overlooked, dismissed, or treated as a replaceable asset. Anna continued, detailing the technical aspects of her algorithm and the importance of protecting intellectual property. She spoke about the legal battle with Apex Dynamics, not out of bitterness, but as a cautionary tale about what happens when companies undervalue the very people who make them great. I hope my story serves as a reminder that talent is not disposable. That real success is built on the contributions of individuals who dare to innovate, and that those individuals deserve recognition and respect, not just as a courtesy, but as a fundamental part of what drives progress. When she finished, the applause was deafening. As Anna stepped off the stage, she was approached by a line of young engineers, eager to share their stories and seek her advice. One woman, barely out of college, looked at Anna with a mixture of awe and determination. Your story changed the way I document my work, the young woman admitted. I started keeping detailed records of everything I build, and I make sure my contributions are visible. I'm not going to let anyone take my work for granted. Anna's smile was warm and genuine. Smart. Your innovations deserve protection. And don't ever let anyone convince you otherwise. Later that evening, Anna stood by a window in her office at Titan Tech, watching the city lights flicker like a constellation of possibilities. Titan Tech had launched 3 groundbreaking products built on her algorithm, capturing significant market share from Apex Dynamics and other competitors. Under her leadership, the company had set a new standard for cybersecurity, and their success was a testament to the power of recognizing and valuing real talent. There was a knock on her door, and James Carter stepped inside, holding a bottle of champagne and 2 glasses. Happy anniversary, Anna. The board wanted me to tell you before we go public, Titan Tech has officially surpassed Apex Dynamics in market valuation. Anna took a glass, her expression one of quiet satisfaction. That's what happens when you value innovation properly. James poured the champagne, a celebratory glint in his eye. The industry's calling you an icon, you know. The story about how you reclaimed your legacy and changed the game, it's become a cautionary tale in boardrooms across the country. It was never about revenge, Anna said softly, her gaze distant. It was about showing that innovation isn't anonymous. It comes from real people who deserve real credit. And if that changes the way companies treat their innovators, then it's all been worth it. James raised his glass, a proud smile on his face. To a recognition and to never being underestimated again. Anna clinked her glass against his, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. She had fought for her name, her legacy, and her worth, and she had won. But more than that, she had changed the conversation. She had proven that real innovation couldn't be erased, and that those who dared to dismiss talent would always pay the price. As she watched the lights of the city below, Anna knew that she had finally found what had eluded her for so long, not just success, but respect. She had built something that would endure, and her name would always be tied to the legacy of innovation that had shaped an entire industry. And this time, everyone knew exactly who she was. The story of Anna Mitchell serves as a powerful reminder that innovation is not just about technology, it's about the people who create it. In a world that often prioritizes profit over talent and sees employees as disposable assets, this story underscores the importance of recognizing and valuing individual contributions. It highlights that intellectual property, hard work, and dedication deserve acknowledgement and respect, no matter the circumstances. Anna's journey reveals that real success is built on trust, integrity, and fairness. Companies that fail to value their people and their contributions risk losing not only their talent, but their very foundation for success. This story encourages individuals to document and protect their work, never letting themselves be erased or underestimated. For leaders, it's a cautionary tale about the cost of taking talent for granted. For innovators, it's a rallying cry to know your worth, stand up for your contributions, and never let anyone silence your voice. Ultimately, this story is about reclaiming power, demanding recognition, and proving that innovation thrives when the people behind it are seen, valued, and respected.